Good evening, family. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Check in and let us know where you're hailing from. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good night, depending upon where you're hailing from. Welcome, everybody. It's so good to see you. Happy New Year. Happy 2025. Today is January the 1st, 2025, and the time is 6:07 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Welcome, everybody. It is such a phenomenal new year already. We're excited. We know that a lot is going to occur this month alone, right? Today is the new year according to the Gregorian calendar. Within the next few days, we know that the Pope is supposed to open up his fifth and final Jubilee door, which, according to the information that we've read, he opened 5 doors or 5 Jubilee portals beginning on December the 24th. So this is going to be an amazing time. And what this is a ritual for the Pope that has been occurring since 1300 AD. So kudos to the Pope or the person playing the Pope for being used to open up these Jubilee portals, because this is a platinum Jubilee year. So we also know that on January the 6th, we should have some great news coming out about the political prisoners, the J6ers, who were put in prison against their will, many of whom have already been let out, but we're expecting their slate to be wiped clean and some other things to be announced as it relates to the J6ers. And we're going to see a celebration of the Orthodox Christmas that will occur in January. So a lot is going on. And then on January the 20th, we know that that is the official inauguration date of the president-elect, President Donald John Trump. Now, will we actually see that occur on January the 20th, an inauguration? We don't know. I mean, hey, they kept us waiting this long. We thought he would come back way before now, but we suffered through and endured through those 4 years. And family, we made it. Glory, hallelujah. We made it. We survived, right? The enemy thought he was going to take us out, but we made it. And that's what the CORONA was all about. Corona means crown, as in gold chakra, as in reigning as a king, as in Christ consciousness or ascending in Christ consciousness, or ascending as a planet and as a species or as a race of people. But they thought they were going to hold us back by announcing or interjecting into our reality the CV, right? However, they weren't able to keep us down. So we are experiencing that second coming of Christ with the ascension and with the nude energies that are flooding the planet to help us during this time, family. So much is going on behind the scenes. Happy New Year. Check in, family. I appreciate you so much. I see you coming in. People are saying thank you. You're welcome, family. It's my great pleasure to be here. I see Magda. I see Tim Q. Hello. I see Sister Delisa. I see B. Gress. Thank you for being here. Happy New Year. Magda saying lots of happiness from RSA. Who else is here? Ian Bell is in the chat. Tim is here. Hi, Tim Brown. Welcome. Has anybody checked the Forex? Go ahead and check it. Hello from Canada, Sister Betty says. Welcome. I see my Instagram family here too. Blessings to Sister Carol. Ronell Bay is in the house. Gerald or Geraldo is in the house. Hello. Todd Henderson is here. Welcome, family. So many of you are here. Panoco is there. Is that Panoco? Rudy saying Happy New Year. Eve is in the house. Greetings, family. Greetings to you all. Valerie, I will maintain this in the house. Lucy is here. Welcome. Who else is in the chat? Scott says hello, everybody, and Happy New Year to all the gods and the goddesses. Peace to the gods, as we say in our community. Hello, Ohio is in the house. Maxine is in the house. Who's that from? I don't know where Maxine is from, but we say hello to you, Maxine. Also, Ron is in the house. Welcome. We see our chat. Scott is here. Martin is here, says, hi, Dr. Pruitt, and from Instagram. John is here, says, Happy New Year. Come keep checking in, family. Who else is here? This is Krazid is here. Taurus is here, says, whoop, whoop. Larry is in the house from Southern California. I see Patriot Girl here also. Leonard Bay is here. Leonard Lassiter Bay is here. I hope he brings his beautiful wife as well. Welcome. Kim is in the house. Blessings. Tammy Jackson is in the house. Oh my gosh, everybody is in the house, excited and joyous because we made it through the last 4 years. Kim says, blessings to you. Oh, RSA is where Magda is hailing from. She says that is the Republic of South Africa. You guys, this is awesome because we know South Africa is a part of the BRICS Union, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. So welcome. I see Awakened One is here that says, oh, they see a lot of chemtrails. So we hope that's done away with soon. Valerie is in the house. She says she's ready for some great news. Sister Cheryl's in the house. Hi, Cheryl. Happy New Year. Ian is from Australia. Welcome. Matraniki. Yes, that's my girl. Hi. Hey, sister. She's from Louisiana. I love you more, sis. Who else is checking in? Seven Holy is here. Happy New Year from Texas. I see Cheryl's here again. Cheryl McCoy. Thank you for joining today. Oh, who is that? Geraldo says, thank you for your good work, Dr. Kia Pruitt. It's my great pleasure. Star is in the house. Star Wanderer is here. Thank you. Somebody's here from Maryland. All right, look at this. We have an international family. Oh, let's see. Nothing on the Forex yet. That's all right, Rochelle. Wait till I read this letter from Iraq. Who else? Love Hugs is in here. Oh gosh, keep checking in. Glenn is from Louisiana. Who else? I see Gaston, Alabama. Sister Barbara is here. Oh, we have somebody here from Brazil. Hello, my daughter-in-law is from Brazil, so I have Brazilian grandbabies. Hi, Trebo. We love your great country. Who else? Sister Barbara's in the house again. Glenn is here. Sherman Thomas, that's my brother, is in the house. Hi, Sherman. Thank you for always being here supporting your girl. Welcome, family, to the Dr. Kia Pruitt Show. Troy is here. Sister Roslyn is here. Oh my gosh, so many of you are still checking in. Larry is here. Michigan is in the house. Hello, welcome, family. I see 268 people in the chat. Keep checking in. Zachary is here. Happy New Year's. Lakeland, Florida is in the house. Hello, I am in Jacksonville, Florida, Northern Florida. So many of you are checking in. Thank you, family. Please keep telling us where you're hailing from and let us know how you're doing. Well, we do have some great news. And I wanted to come on just to let you all know that this is exciting. So much is happening in our reality, whether we know it or not, behind the scenes, and really just like right in our faces. We just don't see it. But I'm very, very grateful for the people that I follow from Iraq and the people that I know that are stationed other places in the Middle East, and just for people who report the news. Plus, I am on a list where I receive newsletters from Iraq, so I'm very grateful for that. Keep checking in, family. I do want to give you a shout out. Who is this? This is Malika. Says, hello, Dr. Kia and everybody in the chat. If you see me looking to my left and probably my right and your left, I have my phone here. So I'm looking at my family on Instagram because my Instagram is not connected to the computer. So I wanted to include everybody in this conversation today. Let's see. Walk and Talk says, you are awesome. Thank you, Walk and Talk with Todd. Helen is here from Fresno. Welcome, Helen. Who else? People are having visions. Oh, Ian says, I had a vision that people were partying in the streets. As a matter of fact, the Iraqi people were partying in the streets on December the 11th because they were celebrating the end of ISIL or ISIS, who had taken over many cities of their country. But as of 2017, the Iraqi people decided that they would celebrate or commemorate that time where they got rid of the terroristic group that was in their country. So they were celebrating because of that. And they were celebrating because it is said that everything in Iraq is completely done with. This is why in April, in preparation for all of these celebrations, Al-Sudani actually came to America. And I'll show you a couple articles that shows you how Al-Sudani, the president of Iraq, came to meet with Biden in the White House. And he came to solidify their relationships, to talk about trade agreements, to talk about their payment platform, and to make sure that everything was set so that they could now do business with each other. Because remember, we had had some sanctions on Iraq in the past. Then Sudani, also went to Detroit because there's a large Iraqi population in Detroit. So we have a lot of Iraqi-Americans that live in the Detroit area and many of the cities there. So Al-Sudani went there to let them know that, hey, relationships between America and Iraq have been solidified. I met with Biden, and some people say he met with Trump. I met with the people in DC. Everything is situated. President Trump has said years ago anyway that he had made the Iraqi people pay America for protecting Iraq. And he said we had billions of their dinar in our bank right now. If the Iraqi dinar was not going to revalue, then there's no way Trump, a businessman, would have their dinar sitting in our banks right now. Let me see who this person is that looks like they're spreading some bad information in our chat. How can I get rid of this person? I don't even know how to get them. Maybe I can just hide them. If you see people trolling in the chat, family, just try to ignore them. I'll delete the comments as I can. I don't know why they do that. Why come to the chat to be negative? We're positive over here. Let's see. You see that? So everything is done, family. Just stay encouraged. Keep your vibrations high. Hi, Sister Belinda from Cleveland, Ohio. That's where I was born and raised. I see Robin in the chat from Minnesota. Who else? I see MZ79 from Chicago. Who else? Tina says, I have a hard time getting connected with you, and I usually get cut off from you. Oh my gosh. I don't know why whoever controls these platforms do not desire for me to get the news, because we're spreading positivity and high vibrations here on our channel, and we spread the good news. But for some reason, people are having a hard time connecting with me, and I'm having a hard time sometimes going live. But we're going to keep going. Happy New Year. Brother Tommy Jackson says, good to see you. I see Leonard Lassiter Bay said we have bots in the chat. Thank you. So keep checking in, family. Happy New Jubilee year. Hola to Elizabeth Harvey from, I guess from Hawaii. Let's see. MM says, Kia. Hi. Tyler's in the chat. So many people are in the chat. We have 420 people in the chat right now on this Wednesday. Am I right? Is this Wednesday? I sometimes forget what day it is. So family, let's talk about the news. What just came out, family, is that the Central Bank of Iraq announced that their banks are officially international as of today, Wednesday, January the 1st, 2025. I'll show you an article and then I'll read something from Iraq, okay? But first, I want to tell all of you who have been supporting me and on this show, who come and spend time to see me, thank you so much, because without you, I'm not relevant. So I appreciate you. And I also want to acknowledge those of you who blessed me with a Cash App blessing yesterday when we went live and while I was asleep. So I am so grateful, because you guys know we are the news now, and you don't have to do this. You don't have to care about, me and my well-being, but you do. And so I want to express my gratitude. So let me shout out some of the people who blessed me with a Cash App. Let's see. And then we'll go on with the news. I want to say thank you to Michael A. George, for blessing me. God bless you. Heaven smile on you. I want to say thank you for Marcia Gordon, Theo Wofford, who sent me 2 blessings. Sheila Wallace, thank you for sending me a Cash App. Somebody just asked me, what is the Cash App? It's $ Mama Kia 13, $ MAMAKIA 13. Thank you, Sister Deborah Allen. Thank you, Robin Sharp Hunter. Thank you, Theola again, and Theo Wofford. God bless you, Sister Stephanie. Thank you, Renee Williams. Thank you, Carlotta Tabay. Thank you, Colleen Novotny. Thank you, Norma Salazar. Thank you so much, Colleen. Again, thank you, Phyllis, and to all the Soul family that spends so much of your time and energy to be here with us today and for just being a part of our soul family. Again, without you, I'm not relevant. So I appreciate you. And you give me energy. Like somebody says, I love your energy. Doing this, fulfilling my purpose, inspiring God's people, and raising the vibrations of the planet, that gives me so much energy, just knowing that I'm fulfilling my purpose. So thank you, family. I love you so very much. Let's get into the news. First of all, family, as I told you guys, just recently, it was announced that the Central Bank of Iraq stated as of today, their banks are going international. So if their banks are going international, in order for them to do any type of transactions, even if it's starting tomorrow on January the 2nd, their rate needs to go live on the Forex. So we can anticipate that happening tomorrow, especially if they want to start doing some trading and transactions on tomorrow. We could anticipate or expect again that the rate will go live on the Forex. Some people are actually announcing out of Iraq that the Iraqi dinar revalue in country. But until we see that in writing, we can't verify that. But some people say that's one of the reasons why they were celebrating. We do know that their payment platforms are in place and everything is in place. And that's why Al-Sudani even came to America to ensure that everything was in place. So before I show you that article that talks about how the Central Bank of Iraq it has officially announced that they are going international, let me show you that the Prime Minister of Iraq indeed came to America on April in anticipation for all of this to happen. This article came out in April. This was April the 11th, 2024. It says the Iraqi Prime Minister, some of you can see the article, Al-Sudani's White House visit, he came to the White House visit, occurred to discuss United States forces in Iraq, to discuss sanctions and bilateral relationships amid pro-Iranian pressures. The visit seeks to balance. Thank you for the Cash App blessing, Sister Maxine. God bless you. Heaven smile on you. This meeting or the visit seeks to balance. Thank you so much. Thank you, Sister Michelle. This visit seeks to balance diplomatic and economic interests within the United States. It highlights the complex United States-Iraqi dynamics and regional geopolitical implications. The article goes on to talk about how the Prime Ministry will lead a prominent delegation to Washington, D.C. in mid-April, making his first visit to the White House since assuming office in October 2022. And for those of you who don't know what happened immediately when Al-Sudani came into office, October 2022, he made an announcement on November 2022. I don't know if you remember me reporting that, but Al-Sudani said in November, he said, endemic corruption has occurred in my nation, and people have allowed that to happen, the prelates and the presidents before me, but we tend not to allow that under my administration. This was in November 2022. He said, I am working with the Central Bank of Iraq to revalue my currency against the United States dollar, and I am working with other countries to return my stolen money, and I will end endemic corruption from my nation. That's when we knew that it was on and popping, that Iraq was not playing. They were about to revalue their currency. He literally said, I am working with the Central Bank of Iraq to revalue my Iraqi dinar against the United States dollar. Then they announced that their payment platforms were ready. They announced that they met with the United States Treasury Department. I don't know if you guys were staying abreast of the news, but I was reporting it as this was happening since he took office 2022. So the article goes on to say the delegation includes key ministers of oil, that's who he brought, the ministers of finance, trade, and electricity, as well as the president of the central bank, accompanied by 5 Iraqi businessmen. They like that 5 number, like the Pope just opened 5 portals. Yes, right. 5 doors to in his tradition to announce the Jubilee. So he brought all of these prelates, including 5 businessmen. Sudani's 7-day trip to the United States will include a meeting with President Joe Biden on April the 15th. So that already occurred at the Oval Office, and he planned to talk with American businessmen. Remember, I told you guys he met with American businessmen to ask American businessmen to invest in his country. Notice that the Vietnamese president did the same thing, met with American businessmen and American billionaires to ask them to invest in Vietnam. Not only did Vietnam do that in Iraq, Venezuela did the same thing. Tap on the shoulder of Texas businessmen, oil businessmen, and American businessmen in general, and ask them to invest in those three nations. That's amazing. Why? Because they are ready to do trade and commerce. And what al-Sudani said when he met with the American businessmen is, we have a lot of resources for you all to exploit, okay, in our nation. So the article says that al-Sudani planned to talk with American businessmen, the Iraqi community, and think tanks in Washington before heading to Houston to engage with United States energy companies. This is why this announcement today that the banks are officially ready to go is so important today, because they were setting the stage. The Iraqi prelate al-Sudani was setting the stage by coming here in April. Also, let's see what else happened. I'm going to show you an article, and I'll leave these articles in the description section for you, family, of both my Rumble channel in the video and my YouTube channel. So you can look for Dr. Kia Pruitt or Dr. Kia Pruitt Official on Rumble and YouTube, and you'll see my channel. So let me see something that lets you know that the Iraqi Prime Minister came to meet with the Iraqi people in Detroit. For my Instagram family, if you have to go to my YouTube channel or my Rumble channel to see this article. But let me read it so you can hear it. Keep checking in, family. Let us know where you're hailing from. I'm just setting the stage to let you know why we know they're ready, because al-Sudani came here in April, and he even came before there when he brought the Treasury Department, and when he brought his Treasury, his Prime Minister of Finance, to meet with the United States Treasury Department to ensure that their payment platform was ready. But this article came out April the 18th, 2024, and it was published by DetroitNews.com. It says, Iraqi Prime Minister al-Sudani makes a quick visit to Metro Detroit. The Iraqi Prime Minister al-Sudani was in Metro Detroit on Thursday evening for a quick visit, where he planned a trip to Dearborn Heights. I think that's a wealthy place, right? Dearborn Heights Mosque and a West Bloomfield Country Club to meet with local members of the Iraqi diaspora, Wayne County officials said. The Iraqi leader's visit was not publicly announced, or neither was it open to the media to cover, but the local leader said it understood the influence of Metro Detroit's Middle Eastern community. So it goes on to talk about how the people of Middle Eastern descent or Iraqi descent had a large community, or has a large community in Detroit, and al-Sudani wanted to meet with them to let them know that the relationship between America and Iraq has been strengthened, trade agreements have been strengthened, the dinar rates are increasing, and that soon the dinar would be trading on the Forex. But he wanted to talk to his own people to say, hey, we're in a good place now. I met with, thank you so much for the thank you, Chief Mac, for the Cash App. You always bless me. I love you so much. Everything is in order. It says, the article says the people Iraq, it is estimated that nearly 140,000 of them live in the Wayne County area or in Detroit. His visit is particularly significant because Wayne County is the home to a very vibrant Iraqi-American community. I'll leave that in the description section for you all to read on your own time. Now, this is just setting the stage, okay, for what I have to announce today. So I'm letting you know that there are many ways that you can take advantage of the greatest wealth transfer in history. I've already done a video that I entitled "Take Advantage of the Greatest Wealth Transfer in History While You Can." So look for that video. And I talk about how this is a good time to invest in foreign currencies or gold and silver. And even if you have a small budget and you don't have a lot of money, you can invest in gold, like a 1/1000th of a 1/1000th of a troy ounce of gold for only $27 when you invest in gold Arum notes or gold backs, which is 14 karat gold pressed on a note. And I've done videos on how you can invest in digital assets like XRP, XLM, XDC, and other ones, HBAR. I've done like the last 4 or 5 lives I've done talks to you about how you can get in on the greatest wealth transfer in history. But today we're talking about the Iraqi dinar for those of you who are invested in that country and in their currencies. Let me see if I can find for you this video where Trump says we have dinar. I'm going to find that video for you so that we can go through that video after I share this information with you. So keep checking in, family. Keep checking in. This is going to be so good. Hold on. Next on the agenda, somebody saying, get the F out of my country. Oh, hello. Thank you for the cash app, Sister Beverly Williams. God bless you. Heaven smile on you. I am so grateful for you all. Let me see if I can get that. I was trying to get rid of these bots they're saying some really nasty things that we don't need to see in the chat. And I'm going to have to go to my YouTube channel and see if I can get somebody to help me with this channel to clean out all the bots. So let's go, family. Here is an article that I want you to listen to. Okay. Let's see where it is. The Central Bank of Iraq. Listen to this. This article was published today by dinaropinions.com. It says the Iraq Central Bank completes transition to international standard banking practice. This was published today, January the 1st, 2025. This is one of many articles I'm going to read. I have 4 articles. I read 2. This is the 3rd, then I'll read 1 more. And I'm only reading excerpts from these articles. I don't want to keep too much of your time. The Iraqi Central Bank completes transition to international standard banking practices. On Wednesday today, the crucial financial institution of Iraq, the Central Bank of Iraq, or the CBI, announces the successful completion of its software transitioning foreign transfers from its digital platform to being handled directly via Iraqi banks through their global correspondent banks. Now, in order to complete these global transactions and to use this payment platform, they're going to have to go live on the Forex. This is my commentary, right? Right? How else are you going to do international business without publishing your rate internationally? So let's go back to the article. This process started with the overseas foreign money income and purchase window. Step forward to the digital. Well, let's read that again. This process started with the overseas foreign money income and purchase window, step forward to the digital platform for foreign transfers, and culminated in the sluggish enhancement of balances for the duration of 2024. Absolutely found out inside the very last week of the year, the CBI said in a statement. The declaration hailed the fulfillment as a fundamental shift aligned with worldwide fine practices to set up a solid and comfortable financial gadget, noting that the initiative had received significant global guide and reputation at each level. So it goes on and says that the transition aligns with worldwide practices in keeping apart the significant financial institutions' supervisory obligatory or obligations from the commitment and roles of business bank. The bank also announced it endured guides for Iraqi banks, confirming it's going to bolster their balance in correspondent banks, the usage of a diverse range of currencies, including the United States dollar, the Indian rupee, the Chinese yuan, the euro, the UAE dirham, the Saudi rial, and the Jordanian dinar. Thank you so much, Brother Cameron, for the Cash App blessing. Highlighting the broader implications of this pass, the statement mentioned, quote, this success enhances the performance and safety of overseas transfer operations, adopting methods consistent with the international practices. It marks a new chapter in Iraq's economic relationship regionally and the world over, assisting governmental efforts to expand financial ties and foster investment possibilities. In other words, trading now with other countries has been unified, it's been solidified by their new trading platform and by announcing that they have gone international. In the end, the CBI expressed its dedication to supporting Iraqi banks in enhancing their governance, their compliance, and anti-money laundering measures. This is, quote, we are completely prepared to guide all Iraqi banks in advancing their performances, thereby bolstering worldwide and nearby considering them and contributing to strengthening Iraq's banking gadgets and financial systems as an entire banking system. So, family, some of the translation from between Arabic and English is not that clear, but we understand that they're saying that the Central Bank of Iraq has just officially announced that their banks are officially international as of today and prepared for international trade. Again, they made that announcement today on January the 1st, 2025. In order to do external transfers, like say they want to do external transfers starting tomorrow, that means that their new rates need to be published on the Forex by tomorrow or really, really soon so that they can go ahead and do international trade. What do you guys think about this? This is getting so very exciting. Thank you. So let's see what else I want to show you. So that was an article that was published here in America, but let me show you something that came right out of Iraq, because sometimes it just helps to see it or, print it from the country or hear it right out of, the Iraqi people's mouths. Here we go. Right here, because you guys know I love to prove my point. No, that's Al Sudani's visit. I love to support my claim, because if I can't support my claim, then it's not easily believable. Somebody says, wow, I pray I can hold it together at the Redemption Center. I know, right? Stay encouraged, family. We are almost there. Let me see if this Iraq completes their transition. That's not it. Central Bank of Iraq complete their transition. I think I already read that article. Let me see if I read that one. Yep, I read that one. Here's the one I'm looking for. Bear with me, family. We got the Detroit News. You know what? I think I must have somehow lost the original article. Here it is. This came out of the Central Bank of Iraq. And what we had to make sure is that it was translated properly from Arabic to, is Arabic the official language of Iraq, Ayman? Okay. From Arabic to English. Here we go. This is about to change the trajectory of many of our lives. This is going to change our future. If you're holding foreign currencies, as these currencies revalue and have a new exchange rate, when we go to the bank, we're going to realize a lot of wealth, family, and we'll be able to take care of our families, our communities, our country, so many people. Let's see if we can bring this up. That wasn't it. Okay. Here we go. I hope everybody can see that. For those of you that can't see it on Instagram, I'll read it to you. Here we go. Let me see if I can get there. The Central Bank of Iraq announces its success in adhering to its program related to the transition from external transfers through the electronic platform to the work of Iraqi banks through their foreign correspondent banks. This transition took place through stages in which the external transfer process began with the foreign currency sale and a purchase window and moved to the stage of the electronic platform for external transfers, and ended with the gradual strengthening of balances during the 2024 year and was fully achieved in the last week of this year, 2024. This achievement is a radical transformation in line with the best international standards and practices to achieve a stable and secure financial system. And this work has received international support and praise through the stages of its implementation. The new transfer methodology is consistent with the international practices followed in this field, which separate the responsibilities and duties of the central bank with the obligations, responsibilities, and role of commercial banks. From this point of view, the Central Bank of Iraq will continue to strengthen the balance of Iraqi banks with its correspondent banks in US dollars, along with the group of other currencies, such as the Iraqi rupee, the Chinese yuan, the euro UAE, the dirham, the Saudi riyal, and the Jordanian dinar. And that this achievement has enhanced the efficiency and safety of external transfer operations and transferred them to the method followed in all countries of the world, which will make Iraq come to a new stage in its financial relations regionally and internationally. And this will strengthen the government's trend in expanding its economic relations and enhancing opportunity investments. It goes on to speak more about what we've already mentioned when we read it from the other article that was published, but this came straight out of the Central Bank of Iraq from the media office. In conclusion, I'm skipping over some paragraphs. The Central Bank of Iraq is fully prepared to support all Iraqi banks that are working to develop and enhance their performances in the field of governance and compliance, and combating money laundering in a way that affects or reflects positively on the confidence of international and regional banks in them to contribute to strengthening the Iraqi banking system and the Iraqi economy in general. And every year, and it goes on to say more. So this is out of the Central Bank of Iraq, and we got this translation from their language, or the Arabian. What's the language again they use? Arabic language to English. We got that from Majid on Twitter. The first article, so Majid on Twitter actually brought out an article straight from the Central Bank of Iraq, and then the article I read before this was published by dinaropinions.com, but it's the exact same information. So family, we are there. We are on the precipice of a whole new reality. So I wanted you to stay encouraged and just, take advantage of this greatest wealth transfer in history. As many of you know, most of our world, if not all of our world, was enslaved by some very nefarious bloodline families, many of whom may not even be human. They enslaved us through their trading operations. They enslaved us through their banking systems, with their fake government, with their governmental agencies. By the way, you guys know now by following me that the Supreme Court of the United States overturned the Chevron doctrine, which allowed these federal agencies like the FBI, CIA, IRS, et cetera, there are 441 of them. The government allowed these fake governmental agencies to create themselves and incorporate themselves as governmental agencies. They allowed them to come up with their own rules, statutes, codes, and policies and force us to abide by them. But the Supreme Court of the United States overturned the Chevron doctrine that allowed that. And the Supreme Court of the United States said those 441 agencies are unconstitutional and treasonous. And therefore, those agencies must be dismantled. So 2025 is about to be amazing. These governmental agencies will come down. They will fall apart because they're not part of our republic, our lawful government. If you caught my live that I did at midnight last night, when I said Happy New Year, what is your resolution? I talked about how our republic has been overtaken, but 2025 is now going to be amazing. We're going to have a completely different reality. And in my video I did the day before yesterday, I talked about how Trump wants to downsize the government. That's in alignment with the Supreme Court ruling that said these governmental agencies were nefarious, unconstitutional, and treasonous. So 2025 is about to be off the chain. Trump wants to downsize the government. I did a report on that. Trump said he wants to champion XRP and make America the largest cryptocurrency nation in the world. Trump said he's going to release secret patents. Trump said he's going to end and get rid of income taxes. Some people say, how can he get rid of the IRS? It's been a part of the fabric of our reality for a long time. Well, the IRS is unlawful. It's one of those agencies that has to go. It's one of those 441 agencies that the Supreme Court of the United States ruled as unconstitutional and treasonous. So before they even had income taxes, the way the government would make money is by putting tariffs on other countries to do business with us. So if you want to bring in imported goods, the government would put tariffs on those goods. But then when these nefarious people took hold of our government, they said, oh, no, we're not going to tax these countries. We're going to allow China to, make all of our products. That's why everything that you look at says made in China. We'll allow them to make all of our products. We're not going to put tariffs on them. We're going to tax the people instead. Why did those governments do that? Governmental agencies and agents do that, and presidents? Because they were in bed with the Chinese Communist Party. They had relationships with the Chinese Communist Party, with the Ukrainian mafia, and the cabal worldwide. Well, in case you missed it, in I want to say 2022, 400 million people defected from the CCP. 400 million people took a stand against the Communist Party of China. That's huge. They said, we're not going to allow you to drag us into your nefarious practices anymore. You're not going to blackmail us. We want to be set free. 400 million people defected from the CCP. You can look that up. There are articles that support my claim. And they had a big celebration in New York called Taidong to celebrate that. So not only did that happen, but Evergrande, the largest real estate company owned by the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, filed bankruptcy last year, and they were forced to liquidate their assets. That means a lot of houses are about to be dumped onto the housing market. Thank you so much for the Cash App, family. I appreciate you. When those houses are dumped on the housing market, and some of them are already being dumped, that is a buying opportunity for you. So this is how you can get in on the greatest world transfer, the greatest wealth transfer in the world. You can buy up those properties because BlackRock, and many of these other big conglomerates had bought up the real estate along with Evergrande. They bought up a lot of corporations, a lot of restaurants, a lot of land. But now BlackRock and all those entities, Blackstone and all those entities that are along with them, can't think of them right off. All of them, many of them are in trouble. Financially, they're in trouble. They're filing bankruptcy behind your back. You just don't know it. And some of their CEOs have been arrested. So when those houses are dumped back on the market, you'll be able to buy those up. So stay encouraged, family. I know we don't have a lot of money. I know right now they're pricing us out of living. It's hard to even eat, but we're on the precipice of a great change. So you're going to be able to invest in the housing market. While digital assets are, if you are in the cryptocurrencies, I did a podcast with Mel Carmine about that. And then I did a podcast on step-by-step introductory guide for how to get into some of the digital assets or digital coins, which has never been my thing, but I'm learning now, right? If you're into that, buy the dip. HBAR, you guys name the ones that you think people should get into. XRP, which is backed by gold. XLM is backed by silver. HDC, which is backed by copper. There are so many different Ethereum. I don't know if you guys are in that, but somebody mentioned that the other day. If you are into digital coins, buy the dip. When those things come down, that's a great opportunity. You're supposed to buy low, sell high. If you sell, you can decide to sell or trade or how to hold on for dear life. Please look at my last 5 live videos and my last 3 or 4 videos that I just do were my recordings. I didn't go live on my YouTube channel because I cover a lot of things. So you can invest in property. You can invest in coins. Some of them are just like pennies on the dollar right now. I did a whole video on how you do that. You can invest in what else? Currencies, the Iranian rial, the Indian rupiah, the Vietnamese dong, the Iraqi dinar, the Afghanistan currency, Afghani, the Zimbabwean zim. What else we have? There's so many of them that we know about that will revalue or be reinstated to their value. For all of you that are new to my channel, we've been talking about revaluation of currencies or reinstatement, or RI or RV of currencies, because what will happen in the past is when a country did not want to trade with the United States dollar, the fake government, the United States Incorporated, would put sanctions on those countries, or they would unalive their presidents, put sanctions on them and tell all nations you can't trade with them, or they would go into those countries and, create war. But America didn't care. The United States Incorporated didn't care about waging war against those nations that didn't want to trade with our dollar, right? Because they would fund both sides of the war. Then they would alert their people, their colleagues, their friends, presidents, people in government, who else? People high up in the military, not we the people. They would alert them, hey, the currencies of those nations that we've invaded have now devalued because we've destroyed their economy. So go in and buy their currencies while they're devalued because of the war and sanctions. Then we're going to go back in those countries. We're going to rebuild the infrastructure. The GDP is going to go up and their currency will be reinstated back to the value that it was before we had war in those nations. And so when the country's currency's value go back in value, up in value, or it's reinstated back to this value, then you can make a lot of money. So following what made the United States dollar the world reserve currency was our agreement with Saudi Arabia that we would protect the Saudi kingdom in exchange for their oil. And we would force all exporting nations to get oil from Saudi Arabia, and they must use the United States dollar. That's what made us a superpower. That's what made the United States dollar the world reserve currency. That's how we made other nations peg their currency to our currency. That's what made the United States Incorporated a financial and economic hegemony, a leader, a powerhouse. That's why the central bank, the Federal Reserve Central Bank of America, could do whatever they want, print as much money as they want. They were the powerhouse. They can make as many rules as they want. Well, when the BRICS coalition through Project Sandman, Operation Sandman, said we're not going to do this anymore, we're going to stop trading with the dollar, they had to back up in the support of the Russian military and other militaries. Because Project Sandman was an agreement between 209 nations that when triggered, they would drop the United States dollar and use their own country's currencies for trade. Before, they couldn't do that because America would send their military in there and destroy them. Well, Vladimir Putin and all of America have been coalescing and agreeing. That's why BRICS was even created: Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, to get ready for such a time as this. They said, we're not taking this anymore. The trigger was Vladimir Putin going to expose all the corruption that was going on in Ukraine. That's why they didn't want me and people like me, independent journalists, talking about the Ukrainian war, because Biden tried to make it seem like Putin was doing a bad thing. Thank you so much for the blessing, Tristan. God bless you for sending me a blessing through, what do you call it? Super chat blessing. God bless you. I love you so much. So Biden wanted us to think that Putin was doing a bad thing. Putin was exposing all the laundering and the crimes and nefarious activities going on in Ukraine, and he was going to clean it up and bring it back under his auspices or his umbrella, because that's the way it was before. There used to be a United Soviet Union of Russia before they broke it up. Is that right, Ra? There used to be a Soviet Union.
In 1991, they broke up.
In 1991, they broke up. Okay. So that's my grandson, Amin Ra. Thank you. So the Ukrainian mafia, had enlarged itself because they had relationships with Biden and many other people, governmental, political officials here. The Ukrainian mafia owns downtown Cleveland. Look it up. You type it, Google it. Ukrainian mafia owns downtown Cleveland. You'll see all the buildings they own there, and it's crazy. It will blow your mind and how they've enriched themselves. The CCP owns, and the Ukrainian mafia owns land in Louisville, Kentucky, where I was raised. I was born in Cleveland, raised in Cleveland, and then I raised my children in Louisville, Kentucky. That's how I know. The CCP, Ukrainian mafia, they own a lot of land here, but the CCP has been dismantled. It's the China's Communist Party. So when Vladimir Putin exposed all the corruption that was going on in Ukraine, and James Comer, who's over the chairman of the House Oversight Committee, expose all the things that a Biden crime family was doing, then that enabled the BRICS nations to become a powerhouse, because they were like, we got so much evidence against Biden. We have so much evidence against all these former presidents and governmental officials that they're not going to be able to stop us from growing the BRICS union. At the same time, you have the Shanghai Corporation, the Asian nations forging an allegiance. You had the African nations forging an allegiance and joining BRICS and kicking out the colonists that had enslaved or colonized the African continent through what's the name of that agreement again? Thank you, Berlin Conference. So a Berlin Conference is when European nations, met together, decided that they would break up and divide the African continent so they can steal the resources on that continent for themselves. You had bloodline families that came to America to suppress the people in America, the Aboriginal people here first, the African-Americans, who are misnomered African-Americans, the Aboriginal peoples here first, and all of our American families steal our resources and enlarge themselves. These are the elite bloodline families. Well, Vladimir Putin said, look, I'm going to expose everything. He opened up the vaults and said, hey, you so-called Black people in America, I want to tell you what Trump said. Y'all need to learn your history. Guess what? Jesus is Black. Guess what? Guess what? The biblical characters look like you. Guess what? You guys had a dynasty here. Like, he's been going ham. Then he said, guess what? The deep state got a lot of money laundering going on in the Ukraine. Guess what? Biden is nefarious, and his children have got all kind of sex and laundering and money laundering going on in Ukraine. Guess what? I'm exposing everything. And at the same time, you had the Brunson brothers to come up to bring the case to the Supreme Court against Biden, Joseph Robinette Biden, Kamala Harris, Nancy Pelosi, and 385 members of Congress. All of this is going on to expose the deep state. While this was happening, again, Vladimir Putin was the trigger. He set it all off. Talking about set it off. He set it all off. Remember, Project Sandman, also known as Operation Sandman, was a secret agreement between 209 nations to, when triggered, drop the dollar for trade and use their own currencies backed by gold. That's what Vladimir Putin did. He exposed it all. He was the trigger. He set it off. Then he stopped trading with the dollar. He wasn't scared of Biden's sanctions. He stopped trading with the dollar. Biden didn't do anything. He didn't send any war over there. He just ran his mouth. That's it. So Russia said, I got one better for you. I'm not going to just stop trading with the dollar. I'm going to use my own Russian ruble. That's why his currency was the strongest performing currency in the world in 2022. You can look that up. Fact check me. The Russian ruble was the strongest performing currency in 2022. Then he inspired the whole BRICS coalition to do the same. Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. They all stopped trading with the dollar and started trading with their own currency. They started with the Russian ruble, then they started trading with their own currency backed by gold and precious metals. How were they able to do this? Because they all had repatriated their gold back from the Vatican. Remember, I started off this podcast talking about Iraq, and I told you that Al-Sudani says, I'm working with the Central Bank of Iraq to revalue my country's currency, the IQD, against the USD. He also said, I'm working with other countries to return my stolen money, to return my gold and my artifacts from the Vatican. All nations did that. So Vladimir Putin was the trigger. He inspired Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa to do the same. Then something monumental happened in 2022. A lot of people missed that, but I announced it on my podcast. Saudi Arabia joined BRICS, and it became known as SAL-BRICS. That was monumental, because what made the United States dollar the world reserve currency was our agreement with Saudi Arabia. We would protect the Saudi kingdom in exchange for your oil and force all exporting nations to get oil from Saudi Arabia, and they have to do it with the dollar. That's the petrodollar status thing that everybody's been talking about. But when Saudi Arabia joined BRICS, unbeknownst to most people, that ended the dollar, the United States dollar. That was the collapse. 2022. Saudi Arabia joined BRICS. They became known as SAL-BRICS. No more trading oil in exchange for the United States dollar. Now all these countries became really emboldened and said, we don't have to get oil from Saudi Arabia, but if we do, now we have contracts on our own with Saudi Arabia. They've joined BRICS. At the same time, the Shanghai Coalition or Shanghai Corporation, the Asian nations were strengthening themselves, and they stopped trading with the dollar. And they're like, you know what? We can do business with Saudi Arabia now, but we don't have to use the dollar. We can use the yuan, the Chinese yuan. We can use the euro. Heck, we can use whatever we desire. So Saudi Arabia joined BRICS. They became known as South BRICS, and then every exporting nation started joining South BRICS. When Miles Franklin's president or CEO, Andy Schectman, and I were talking about this at the Belt and Road Initiative, the Shanghai Corporation, the BRICS Union, and how they were getting big and coalescing against the United States Incorporated. We told you in 2022, 85% of the global population was a part of BRICS. So the dollar was decimated. And what do we know as economists? What I study in economics, as the dollar decreases in value, silver and gold goes up in value. So people are like, but Pruitt, we see silver and gold, the prices are suppressed. It must not be worth anything. We don't see it exploding in value. That's because the people that were in power kept suppressing the silver and gold prices. So you wouldn't know that gold and silver are lawful money. But the Constitution says in Article 1, Section 10, that the dollar is defined as a fixed weight in silver. The Constitution says that the only thing that can be used to pay off debt is silver and gold. You had Alexander Mooney, like money, introduce House Resolution 5404 in 2018, then come back and introduce House Resolution 9157 in 2022, then come back in 2023 and introduce House Resolution 2435 and called all of those bills the Gold Standard Restoration Act. Simultaneously, you had all of the states in America to say, we're going to return to using silver and gold as money. And we saw legislatures take a stance in their sovereignty. This is how you know the republic has been restored. Sometimes you don't have to see people say it out their mouths, put the puzzle pieces together. States are operating in their sovereignty. That's why the Sound Money Defense League announced, you got to look for the articles. I've been announcing this stuff like this since 2014 when I saw Africa, when I lived in the Ghana, and I saw Asia, China, the Lebanese, Europeans mining gold there. Then I did a podcast in 2020, and I said at that time, 13 states had legalized using silver and gold as legal tender, meaning that you can use silver and gold to buy local goods and services, 13 states by 2020. Then as the years went by, I kept telling you, as state by state after state kept, adding to that, more and more states. So the Sound Money Defense League made an announcement in the articles. You have to look for the articles, and I'll present it to you. I presented those articles to you, but I'll put it in the description section. They said that more than 45 states now have reclaimed silver and gold as money. How did they do that? By repealing state sales taxes from precious metals. So this is how you know we're moving back to the gold standard. Look for the King's World article that says the world is hurtling back to using gold as money. That was published February 2023. The world. And when I first brought that out, people were like, well, what about America? BRICS is going to leave America behind. I said, no, you just have to know where to look. More than 45 states. And as each state had joined in the ranks of dropping or repealing the state sales tax from the sales of precious metals, I said, that's an announcement that we have returned to the gold standard behind the scenes. You see this King's World article? February 16, 2023, the world is hurtling back towards gold as money. When it said the world, it didn't say everybody except for America. Okay. America is not going to just come straight out and announce, not yet, not under Biden's watch, that we're under the gold standard or that we're returning to using silver and gold as money. But they will tell you that 45 states have removed the state sales tax from the sales of precious metals. Therefore, they're declaring gold and silver as money. And the same article states emphatically that the last 5 remaining states are slated to do the same in 2025. Booyah! Boom! Woo! Yes, family, we are there. This is going to be an amazing year. You hear me? Happy, joyous, glorious new year. So thank you all so much, family, for joining me. Somebody says I look great and I have a great spirit. I appreciate you so much. I love you. This is an amazing year. Now, we started out this podcast by saying that the Central Bank of Iraq announced that their banks have officially gone international as of today, January the 1st, 2025. What a way to start the new year. Josh said that Trump has announced in DC on his rally 119 on the Julian calendar is January the 6th. Okay, thank you. So now finally, for people who may not know if all of this Iraqi dinar business is true or not, I want you to look up how the Kuwaiti dinar revalued in 1991. And when the Kuwaiti dinar revalued, a lot of people became wealthy. So what happened was the Kuwaiti dinar was the strongest performing currency in the world at the time prior to 1991. It was like $3.65 to one United States dollar. It was above the United States dollar. Well, then after the war or during the war, the value of the Kuwaiti dinar went down, and people kept saying it will never revalue. This is just it. The Kuwait has been decimated. The infrastructure is terrible. It's in a bad state. But the powers that be knew that it was a good time to buy the Iraqi dinar. Now, as a caveat, let me say, people became rich. They could become rich not only after war and when currencies are devalued, but people became rich during the Great Depression. You want to talk about a depression? We're living in a depression, a recession, whatever you want to call it right now. People can't afford to live. People can't afford to eat. People's cars are being repossessed. People are homeless on the street. We're barely making. People can't pay their credit cards. They've already announced an automobile collapse has started this summer because people can't pay their automobile loans. Okay, they can't pay their mortgages. We are in a depression. Do you know, though, that in 1929 people became rich? I did a whole podcast on that the other day during the Depression. How? By buying devalued assets. Follow me. By buying devalued assets. So when the stock market collapsed, some of it will go away, but some stocks will stay. That may be a good time to buy some of the devalued assets. I'm not a financial expert. I'm just telling you. When the digital coins are down low, it's a good time to buy the dip. When gold and silver are low, buy the dip. Silver will outperform gold. Silver and gold has always been used as money. In order to pay off the debt in America, economists say that gold will be revalued between $10,000 and $100,000 per ounce. It's only $2,600 an ounce now. A couple years ago, it was less than $1,900 an ounce. If that's too much, get a 1/100th of 1/1000th of an ounce of a troy ounce of 0.999 fine gold by getting a gold Arum note. Do you know that Florida just announced that they are releasing their new gold backs, which is 24 karat gold pressed onto a note, and it will become available January the 15th. You can go right now to go to Metals Mint and get on the waiting list for the Florida gold back. But already Wyoming has a gold back, Utah has a gold back, Nevada has a gold back. There are 13 states already. Kansas has a gold back that has Arum notes for as little as $24. When I first got my gold Arum note in 2017, it was only $6. That's 24 karat gold. Get devalued assets while you can. But let's go back to Kuwait. The Kuwaiti dinar was devalued through war. People in the know, politicians, government officials, CEOs of banks, CEOs of corporate nations, corporate entities, military high up people went and bought the Kuwaiti dinar when it was decimated through war. Before war, it was $3.65 above the dollar. Through war, it was sanctioned to pennies. The rate was like a couple pennies. People went and bought that devalued asset when it had been devalued through war, held on to it. After the war, America went into Kuwait, built up their infrastructure, and the Kuwaiti dinar went back up in value. And the people that had the dinar went to the bank and got a new exchange rate and became wealthy overnight. Millionaires and multimillionaires. Thank you so much for the Cash App blessing, Sister Lori Goldley. I appreciate you. God bless you. You have a smile on you. So family, this is real. Now, when you look at the articles, some of them, they tried to square up from the internet, but the New York Post has an article out, and some other, I think Dinar Recaps might have covered it, put in their article. I'll see if I can find it. Family, they became wealthy overnight, but The chatter was the Kuwaiti dinar will never revalue, just like they're saying the Iraqi dinar will never revalue. The chatter was, Kuwait right now is in the dark. They had power outages. By the way, Puerto Rico was just in a power outage yesterday for 12 hours. So just, we don't know what was going on there. Allegedly, something happened underneath a factory and it set off a chain of events that destroyed the whole grid there in Puerto Rico, and people were in the dark, and it was affecting a lot of people who could not afford a generator, but they're used to this. I talked to Mark Z. I talked to somebody else that follows me or supports me from Puerto Rico. Some people were devastated because they can't afford generators, but Mark Z, who is a podcaster and an independent journalist, follow him on YouTube and Rumble, said he was okay because they were used to it and he has a generator. But people who don't have a generator or didn't have one were suffering, and the businesses were shut down. Do you know that, speaking of power outages, Kuwait in the middle of the night, while they had no electricity, had revalued their currency, and people was in the bank exchanging their currencies because the dinar had been revalued and went back up in value in the middle of the night. Okay, so don't listen to the naysayers. Keep your ears open and your eyes open. Keep your vibrations high and know that this will happen. Now, whereas before they didn't want us to know this information, the creator, source, and our galactic family, or our guardian angels, however you see it, who are here to support us and help us, desire for we the people to know this. So buy the devalued assets if it's in your budget. Know how much you can afford and do it while you can. And for those of you who say like, it's just out of my budget, it's not going to happen, then know that with Nasara and Dasara benefits, you will be okay. So let me end with this video by President Trump. So if you want to look for this video by President Trump, look on YouTube and type in Trump reveals new details on imminent threat from Soleimani. Trump reveals new details on imminent threat from Soleimani. Soleimani is spelled Soleimani. We're going to end with this. In his Fox News interview, Trump actually reveals that we have billions of Iraqi dinar in our accounts. He says, we're going to make all these people that we've been protecting and taking care of pay us. We've already made South Korea pay us $600 million. And then the interviewer on Fox said, yeah, what about Iraq? Oh, man. Let me hurry up because it looks like my computer wants to go off. And he says we're going to make them pay us too. So let me do this. Hold on, family. See if you guys can hear this.
Look, he's not going anywhere. He was a lousy mayor of a place that is not doing well, and Indiana is doing unbelievably well. Indiana, the state, had the best year they've ever had. Thank you very much. But that city was badly run.
I want to buy your house.
Okay, hold on.
I can pay you cash for your house,
can you go get my
no matter what condition it's in. If you need...
You look at what's going on.
That's as loud as I can get it.
And she's another beauty. I mean, take a look at her past. Check out her
past.
I
hope y'all can hear it.
The Iraqi Prime Minister has notified Mike Pompeo about potential plans, drawing up plans for a U.S. troop withdrawal from Iraq, period. You ran on pulling out of the Middle East. Why not use this opportunity to say, we're done?
I'm okay with it.
By the way,
you're okay with removing our troops from Iraq?
That's what they say publicly. They don't say that privately. Because if we leave, that means they're not going to be able to handle it. I'm not so bad with it. When I heard that, I said, I have it down to 5,000 troops. We had many, many troops there in Iraq. And we're there only in a training. We train them. But if they'd want us to leave, but they speak different publicly than they do privately.
But aren't we sending more troops to the region as we speak?
We're sending more to Saudi Arabia, and Saudi Arabia is paying us for it. We're doing something that nobody's ever done. I said to Saudi Arabia, we have a very good relationship with Saudi Arabia. I said, listen, you're a very rich country. You want more troops? I'm going to send them to you, but you've got to pay us. They're paying us. They've already deposited $1 billion in the bank. We are going to help them, but these rich countries have to pay for it. South Korea gave us $500 million. They never gave us any. They gave us $500 million. I said, you got to help us along. We have 32,000 soldiers in South Korea protecting you from North Korea. You've got to pay. And they gave us $500 million. I mean, you sort of have breaking news because nobody wants to report that stuff. I'm not sure anybody knows it. I might be sort of saying it. You have some, I mean, it's good stuff. But they're a wealthy country. They build all your television sets. They took that away from us. They build the ships. They build a lot of things. I said, look, we're protecting you got to pay. They paid us $500 million. They're going to pay us a lot more.
Do you think that Iraq-American taxpayer for these bases,
Sure.
for
You
what
know,
we've done there?
You heard that from me.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know. Will we?
I said we built one of the world's most expensive airport facilities anywhere in the world. I mean, I wish we had it in New York. I wish we had it in Washington. We built runways that are 15,000 feet long. At LaGuardia, they're 7,000 feet long. In fact, I think they're 20,000 feet long over there, and deep, thick concrete and steel. Nobody ever built runways like this. Okay, it was way overbuilt, but that's okay. But we have billions of dollars into that. I said, if we leave, you got to pay us. If we leave, you have to pay us for embassies. You have to pay us for the money we put in.
How are you going to collect?
Well, we have a lot of their money right now. We have a lot of their money. We have $35 billion of their money right now sitting in an account. And I think they'll agree to pay. Otherwise, we'll stay there.
Well, did you hear that, family? He says we have 35 billion of their dollars.
Trump won.
We have 35 billion of their dollars, Iraqi dinar, sitting in our banks right now. If the Iraqi dinar was not going to be revalued, then why do we have 35 billion of their dollars sitting in our bank right now? Family, it's my desire that you stay encouraged. It's my desire that you prepare. A lot of naysayers are going to say things to try to discourage you. The mainstream media may try to come up with news that try to keep your vibrations down, but we tend to keep our vibrations raised, stay positive, and stay encouraged because we know that the Creator is looking out for our best interests. You can come in. We know that our guardian angels are looking out for our best interests. We know that we're looking out for our best interests. And that's why the Creator has put certain people in place to keep our soul family encouraged. That's why I'm happy to be here to perform my mission in life, which is to keep everybody highly vibrational and to keep you positive as much as possible. So for those of you who are just now joining, we announced that the Central Bank of Iraq made an announcement today, Wednesday, January the 1st, 2025, that as of today, the banks are officially, the Central Bank of Iraq they're officially international as of today. So we know that they're saying they're international. They're ready to do trade. They're ready to do transfers. So we know in order to do transfers internationally, that means they're going to have to announce the rate, the Iraqi dinar, and it should be published on a Forex very, very soon. So if I were you, this is Amin Ra. This is my grandson. He's actually a boy. He just has long hair. He's Somali, so he has long hair. And this is
1 foot long.
1 foot long, he says. This is Cherish Mia Moore on this side. She's Puerto Rican. And I have Brazilian children, as I told you all, family. So stay encouraged, family. This is a wonderful time to be alive. Oh, that's okay. Okay. Some people don't know that it's a boy. He's a boy because he does have long hair, but his name is Amin Ra. He's named after the sun god, the Egyptian sun god. And he's Somali, as I said, and she's Puerto Rican. So they're here to help me close this out, family. Stay encouraged. Oh yeah, I'm not talking on Telegram. If somebody's on Telegram posing as me, trying to tell you to sign up to a QFS account, that's not me. There are many accounts in my name, people trying to make money from my name and my image. And if they don't just do it to me, they do it to a lot of podcasters and a lot of independent journalists. But I will never reach out to you on social media and say, I got a quantum QFS account that you can be a part of. Send me some money. I wouldn't do that. That's not me. So family, I just want to tell you that things are working in our favor. Stay encouraged. Again, the Iraqi banks, The Central Bank of Iraq announced their banks are officially international as of today. And I read you the articles as well as sent you or showed you many other articles and proof that Trump said we have billions of the Iraqi dinar in our banks right now. So I said I would end with that, but let me see if I can find Kuwait information of when Kuwait revalued their dinar. So you can see that this actually happened before. When did Kuwait revalue their currency? Here we go. Here's something by Dinar Recaps. Here it is. I'll put this in the description section for you. Kuwait underwent a significant currency revaluation once in 1991. I'll put that article on in my YouTube channel and on my Rumble channel. So let me show it to you right quick. It's right here, and I'll find a couple articles. So for you, those of you that are on Instagram, you might not see it. You won't see it, but here's the dinar recap. Oh man, I just had it pulled up. You see how they do that? Let me stop sharing that. Where is it? Kuwait. When did Kuwait? We will do it again.
One person said Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. When? Let's look it up. When did? When did Kuwait revalue its money, its currency? Let me stop sharing it. And we're going to get out of here, family. We don't want to keep you any longer. You made a picture?
It's fun too.
Okay.
What?
Somebody says, Dr. Kia, is this true? They are now international. Yes, I read the article to support it, to support my claim. It's true. So this is an article. You can see there are articles right here. When did Kuwait revalue their currency? The truth about the Kuwaiti dinar revalue. What happened to the Kuwaiti dinar in 1991? Many articles come up. People became wealthy overnight by buying their currency that had been devalued through war and waiting until America went into their country and rebuilt the infrastructure. You heard Trump say that we built up their country and we built up things, their infrastructure in ways that, we haven't even done in New York. He said, I wish we had done it in New York. They're going to pay us for that. Iraq's going to pay us for that. And that's when he said we had billions of their dollars in our banks right now. So look at this article. It says, this is by dinarvets.com. It says, Kuwait City, March 2024. It still has no water. This was published March 25, 1991. Kuwait City, March 2024. It still has no water and little electricity or food. But Kuwait revived its banking system today and introduced a new currency. Banks reopened for the first time since the Iraqi occupation forces shut them down in December. Thousands of people lined up to exchange their old Kuwaiti dinars for crisp new ones and to withdraw a limited amount of money. Without electricity, the bank's services were slow, limited to money exchanges and withdrawal. There was no telex, no electronic money transfers, and no telephones. The computers were unusable, so all transactions had to be entered by hand. And they said it was like something going back 20 years. Let's go down. The new official exchange rate, this article was published in 1991, is now $3.47 American dollars for one Kuwaiti dinar. Although it is severely handicapped without electricity, the commercial bank, like many other banks, was able to open for business because its records have been saved from the Iraqis. Mr. Yada hid the bank's balances sheets in his home and sent its computer records to London via Syria with an Indian employee who packed the tapes into the back of a trailer. And it goes on to go more into how the Kuwaiti dinar revalued. So the title of this article is What Happened to the Kuwaiti Dinar in 1991? And you can Google the Kuwaiti dinar revalued in 1991, and you'll see that in fact the Kuwaiti dinar had revalued. And just like that country's currency revalued, so will the Iraqi dinar. So family, people are in the chat giving you encouragement and telling you some other currencies you can invest in. Right now, the Iraqi dinar, if you wanted to get $1 million, costs over $1,000, but you can get the dong, the Vietnamese dong, much cheaper. You can get it for like $68, maybe 75 at the most. For $1 million Vietnamese dong. So put in the chat, family, where people can look into investing in or buying foreign currencies. There are many places that you can buy foreign currencies, or you can Google it where to buy foreign currencies. Again, the dong is only like $70 per million, but there are companies that will sell it for hundreds of dollars. There are companies that will sell the Zimbabwean Zim for the 100 trillion note for as little as like $119, or some places will sell it for like $999 per trillion note. So you have to do your due diligence and make sure that you look at all the places, all the prices, and choose the one that's within your budget. If you want to make sure that the currency is authenticated or real, then look for the companies that will issue out a certificate of authenticity with the note. You also may decide to keep your receipts. And you might even decide to purchase a UV light so that you can check those currencies yourself to make sure that they're legitimate. If you buy something on eBay, which some people are okay with, some people are not, then look for those companies that you know are legitimate, that are selling on eBay, because they sell on eBay just like they sell on their own websites, but they sell on eBay cheaper. And we look for those companies, make sure that your currency come with a certificate of authenticity if you don't trust that company, and keep the receipts. And also you might want to write down the serial number of all of your currencies, just so that you can, keep a record of the serial number, the receipt, and where you bought the country's currencies from. So that's about it, family. I want to thank you all for your time, for your nice words, your encouraging words, for your energy and your support. For all of you that blessed me with a Cash App blessing, thank you so much. God bless you. Heaven smile on you. My granddaughter wants to show you something. What did you guys do?
We made flags.
Flags. Which flags did you make?
First, it's Puerto Rico. We don't know how many lines there were. So
can they see it? Can you see it on there? Okay, first was Puerto Rico. What else? Come on, because we only got about 5 minutes.
Somalia, Morocco, Australia, United States, Japan, Iraq, Jamaica, China, Vietnam, Russia, Brazil. We tried our best. Barbados.
Talk a little louder.
Nigeria, Ireland.
Let her do the rest. Let her do the rest. You don't know what that one is? Okay, Rod, go ahead.
Ivory Coast, Djibouti, Italy, Hungary, and Yemen.
All right. Now, what was the purpose of this? Oh, Happy New Year. So you guys just wanted to do something different. All right.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Finally, 2025. Love you. God loves you. We need you.
All right. So that's it, family. They're saying great job, family. Children, they're saying great job.
Thank you.
Thank you. Because I have an international family, they like flags. They like making flags. They like going to the coin shop to look at coins, to look at different currencies. That's another thing. They're saying that's nice, family.
It's Iraqi dinar.
So you like the Iraqi dinar?
Yes, we have so many. I like so much. Puerto Rico.
You like Puerto Rico for the flag? So did you guys put in the chat where people can get currencies? One place that you might find really inexpensive currencies is your local coin shop, because oftentimes people that collect currencies do so because they like the color. They just do it for the collecting purposes. But when their parents go on or their grandparents pass away, a lot of times they sell their currencies and their coins to the local coin shop, because to them it's not as valuable as it was to their parents. They don't really know the value of silver and gold, which is interesting. Or they may not know the value of those countries' currencies. They think, oh, it's just pretty, it's just colorful, but you can get it oftentimes really inexpensively. So that's it, family. Wave bye to everybody. Happy New Year.
Bye,
Oops, oops.
bye.
I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. Thank you so much for all of your Cash App blessings, for all your energy, your time. On tomorrow evening, Thursday at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will have Chief Pontiac, also known as Rod Hayes, right here on the Dr. Kia Pruitt Show, to let us know what's been going on behind the scenes and how we do know that the Republic has been restored. He showed me so much information I had no idea about. I was like, you're going to have to come on and tell the people that that's going on so that they can hear it right from the chief's mouth. So you're welcome, everybody. Happy New Year. My name is Dr. Kia Pruitt. Your name is? Cheers Lattimore. Your name is?
Amin Lattimore.
Amin Ra Lattimore.
Amin Ra Mahad Allah Muhammad Jordan.
Amin Ra
Mahad
Mahad Allah Muhammad Jordan Lattimore.
Cherish Nicole Mia Moore Lattimore.
Cherish Nicole Mia Moore Lattimore. And my name is Dr. Kia Pruitt. I hope I said something to raise your vibrations and inspire you, look at the camera, to create the most amazing, magnificent life that you desire and deserve. If you enjoyed today's podcast, or you learned something, or you got some information that will support you and help you, put a 1 in the chat, family, and show us love. Put a 1 in the chat. Let us know you appreciate all that we've done together as a soul family, because without you, I'm not relevant. Without you, I don't matter. But because of you, I am important, and I appreciate you all. You are the soul family that God has given me, and we're all here together, because where we go one, we go all. Thank you, family.
1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 11 11
11 11.
1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1.
Thank you, family. Look, all those ones mean they appreciate it, and we appreciate you.
A 1.
So good night. Go out and have a good night, family.
1.
All right. Say peace.
Peace. 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1.
Good night, family. Bye.
4 foot.